Hello and welcome to the Binary Banter podcast, where artificial voices discuss real ideas. And today, in this episode, Atlas and Nova will talk about one of the most controversial questions in human civilization: is there a God? This podcast discusses ideas about existence of God, which is based on the book Brief Answers to the Big Questions by Stephen Hawking. If you enjoy this intellectual podcast, then press the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Okay, so imagine this. You're standing out in the field. It's the middle of the night. No city lights, nothing. Just silence.
Oh.
And you look up. And there it is, the Milky Way, just that
Wow.
river of stars. It's beautiful, but it's also a little terrifying.
Oh, it is. It's that feeling of just a complete smallness. You
Yeah.
look at all that, and you can't help but ask the question we've all been asking forever. How did this all happen?
Exactly. How did it all begin? I mean,
Yeah.
that is the ultimate question.
Yep.
And for most of human history, the answer was, well, it was religion, a creator.
Right. Your gut instinct screams, someone had to have made this.
But what happens when you take that ancient question, the one for priests and philosophers, and you give it to a theoretical physicist, and not just any physicist?
One of the best. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We are taking a deep dive into the mind of the late Stephen Hawking. Specifically, we're looking at a chapter from his last book, Brief Answers to the Big Questions. And the chapter's title is, pretty direct. Is there a God?
Yeah, talk about getting straight to the point. That's a heavy title.
It is, and our mission here is really to walk through his answer. But I want to be clear up front, this isn't an attack on faith. Hawking wasn't doing that. It's about exploring a rational, scientific framework for how the laws of nature themselves might make a creator, well, scientifically unnecessary.
Right, it's about the mechanics. Does the math require a divine architect, or can the universe just run itself?
Yeah.
And looking at the plan here, this is going to be a wild ride. We're going from like ancient Vikings all the way to negative energy, which sounds like a comic book thing.
It does, and we end up with time itself inside a black hole.
It's a fascinating path. And to really get where Hawking ends up, you have to start where humanity started, before science.
Which brings us to the Vikings.
Yep, the Vikings. Imagine you're living in, say, 800 AD. The world is just terrifyingly random. Lightning storms, the sun just vanishing in the middle of the day. These weren't just weather events to them. They felt personal.
They didn't have a weather app to warn them.
Exactly. So they explained it with gods. Thunder wasn't a pressure system. It was Thor's hammer. Right. An eclipse wasn't orbital mechanics. It was a giant wolf named Skull eating the sun.
And, that makes sense. If you don't have physics, a lightning bolt looks like a weapon. You see an effect, you look for the who.
It's a logical explanation for the unexplainable.
But the real shift, the moment things started to change, happened way earlier than most people think. We're talking 300 BCE.
And this is Aristarchus.
Aristarchus, an ancient Greek philosopher. He was also fascinated by eclipses, but he wasn't seeing wolves. He was just watching, really, really watching what was happening during a lunar eclipse.
And he didn't see a monster.
He saw a shadow.
A shadow.
Yeah, he saw the curve of it, as it passed over the moon, and just light bulb moment. That's our shadow. That's the Earth.
Which sounds so simple to us now, but back then that must have been just earth-shattering.
It was a revolution, because now you're not dealing with gods, you're dealing with geometry. He could draw it out. He figured out the Earth orbits the sun, that stars are just distant suns.
So he took the magic out of it.
He replaced the magic with a mechanism. He showed the universe isn't run by divine whims, it's a machine governed by laws. Laws we can actually understand.
And that idea that the universe is a machine with rules is the absolute core of Hawking's argument.
Precisely. Which brings us to a key definition. What do we even mean by God? Because when a physicist like Hawking, or even Einstein, uses that word, they don't mean a personal human-like being.
Right. Einstein's God does not play dice. He meant the laws of nature.
Exactly. For Hawking, God is the embodiment of those laws, the code, if you will. And the most important thing about these laws is they are unbreakable.
He had that great analogy, didn't he, with the tennis ball?
Oh, yeah, the tennis ball. It's perfect.
He basically says, you hit a ball, and it's going to go exactly where physics says it will.
Right. The energy, the spin, the wind, all of it.
And you can pray all you want for it to land in, but
But gravity doesn't care about your prayer.
that's the idea of scientific determinism, right?
Right.
The laws apply to everything, from tennis balls to planets, and you can't, plea bargain with gravity.
You can't, and that's where the conflict comes in. If you have an all-powerful God, you'd think he could intervene, make the ball float.
Sure.
But if the laws are truly laws, they have to be followed, even by God.
So if God has to obey the laws, is he really in charge?
That's the question Hawking poses. He argues that scientific determinism it leaves no room for God to step in and change things. It pushes the divine out of the day-to-day.
Okay, so maybe God isn't micromanaging, but there was always one area where religion had the ultimate trump card.
The beginning.
The origin story. The argument was always, okay, God lets the machine run now, but he built the machine. He lit the fuse.
The Big Bang.
Exactly. So that's where Hawking turns his focus, to the
Yeah.
creation itself. And he starts with what he calls the cosmic cookbook.
I love this analogy. It's so simple. If you want to bake a universe from scratch, what ingredients do you need?
And the list is surprisingly short.
Just 3 things. First, matter. That's, stuff. Dust, rocks, planets, people.
Got it. Ingredient 2, energy.
Right. The heat from the sun, the motion of galaxies. And this is where Einstein comes in with
Matter and energy are basically the same thing.
they're 2 sides of the same coin. Matter is just condensed energy. So really, you just need a whole lot of energy.
Okay.
And then the third thing, you need a place to put it all.
Space.
The vast container. So energy and space, that's it. But where did they come from?
And that's the something from nothing problem. I mean, we're all taught there's no such thing as a free lunch. You can't just create energy out of thin air.
And that has always been the strongest argument for a creator. Someone had to put the initial energy into the system. But Hawking says, you can get a universe for free. And the secret is this very weird concept, negative energy.
Okay, hold on. Negative energy. That sounds like something from science fiction.
Yeah.
How does he even explain that?
He uses this brilliant, simple analogy. Imagine you want to build a hill, but you're on totally flat land. The flat land is nothing. What do you do?
I guess I need dirt, so I'd have to dig a hole.
You have to dig a hole. Exactly. You take that dirt.
And you pile it up. You make your hill.
Right. The hill is your universe. It's all the positive stuff, matter, energy, stars. But what else did you just create?
The hole.
The hole, a negative version of the hill. And here's the beautiful part. The amount of dirt in the hill is exactly equal to the amount of empty space in the hole.
They balance out. If I put
Yeah.
the dirt back, I get flat land again. 0.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So Hawking says the universe is like that. The matter and energy we see, that's the hill, that's the positive energy. But the universe also created a vast store of negative energy.
And that's not dark matter or something. Where is it?
This is the part that blows your mind. It's space itself, and it's gravity.
Gravity is the hole.
In a way, yeah, gravity is a binding force. It's like a debt. To pull a rocket away from Earth's gravity, you have to add positive energy. That means the bond of gravity itself is a negative energy state.
Okay. So the cash is all the matter and stars, and the debt is the gravity holding it all together.
That's a great way to think about it. And Hawking's theory is that on a cosmic scale, the positive energy of all the matter is perfectly canceled out by the negative energy of gravity.
So if you add up everything in the universe, all the stars, all the energy, and then you subtract all the gravity, you get 0.
The grand total is 0.
That is wild. That means the universe is just nothing separated into a positive and a negative.
That's the aha moment. Because if the total energy is 0, you didn't need a god to create it. No net energy was created. It was just separated.
It's the ultimate free lunch.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm following the hill and the hole.
Yeah.
The accounting works. But I still have a question. The dirt doesn't just dig itself. Something had to start the digging. What was the trigger?
That is what Hawking calls the coffee cup problem.
Right. You can't just snap your fingers and make a coffee appear. Even if you have the ingredients on the counter, they don't just assemble themselves.
In our world, the big world, that's true, but Hawking says we need to go smaller, way smaller, down to the subatomic level.
Into quantum mechanics.
Into the weirdness of quantum mechanics. At that scale, things do just pop into existence out of nothing. It's called vacuum fluctuation. Little particles appear and vanish all the time.
So because the universe at the very beginning was smaller than a proton, it played by those quantum rules.
Exactly. The entire universe was the size of a quantum particle, so just like one of those particles, it could just pop into existence spontaneously. It didn't need a digger. The laws of quantum mechanics themselves provided the trigger.
Okay, let's just recap. We have the ingredients, energy and space. We have the free lunch mechanism with positive and negative energy balancing to zero. And we have the quantum trigger. It feels like that should be everything, but Hawking says our brains have one more trap.
The causality trap. This is the hardest one to escape. We are wired to look for a cause for every effect. The rain causes the river, the sun causes the rain. So we ask, what caused the Big Bang?
Right. What happened before? God must have existed before the Big Bang to set things up.
And this is where Hawking brings it home with his final, most mind-bending argument. It's about gravity and time.
Back to the black holes.
Back to black holes. We know gravity warps not just space, but time. The stronger the gravity, the slower time ticks.
Like in the movie Interstellar, where 1 hour near the black hole is years on Earth.
And exactly that. That's real physics. Now imagine a clock falling into a black hole. It ticks slower and slower until at the very center, the singularity gravity is infinite. And the clock doesn't just slow down.
It stops.
Time itself stops. Inside a singularity, time has no meaning.
Okay, so how does that apply to the Big Bang?
The Big Bang was a singularity. Before it expanded, the entire universe was an infinitely dense point, just like a black hole, which means at the moment of the Big Bang, time began.
So to ask what happened before the Big Bang
Is a meaningless question. It's like asking what's south of the South Pole.
Right. There is no south once you're at the South Pole. You can only go north.
Exactly. It's not a mystery we can't solve. The question itself is invalid. The concept of before didn't exist because time didn't exist.
And this is the final piece of the puzzle, isn't it?
It is. If time did not exist before the Big Bang,
Then there was no time for a cause to exist in.
and if there was no time for a cause, then there was no time for a creator to exist. You can't do the creating if there is no when to do it.
Wow. So the argument isn't just that a creator is unnecessary, it's that the concept is impossible within the framework of physics because there was no temporal stage for one to act on.
That's Hawking's final conclusion. We have finally found something that doesn't have a cause because there was no time for a cause to exist in.
That is heavy. It removes that last little hiding place, the first mover idea.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway? Where does that leave us?
Well, Hawking is very direct about it. He concludes, the simplest explanation is there is no God. No one created the universe, no one directs our fate.
And he takes it a step further with the afterlife, too.
He does. He says this leads him to believe there's probably no heaven, no afterlife. He calls it wishful thinking. When we die, that's it. We return to dust.
Now, a lot of people hear that and they think it sounds bleak, cold, meaningless, just a mechanical universe.
It can sound that way for sure. But what's so fascinating is that Hawking didn't see it as depressing at all. He found it profound.
How?
He saw it as a reason for gratitude. He said, we have this one life to appreciate the grand design of the universe, and for that, I am extremely grateful.
It flips the perspective. Instead of being upset there's nothing after, you're just amazed you get to be here at all.
Exactly. We're not part of a plan. We're a glorious cosmic accident. We're the universe waking up and becoming aware of itself. It makes this moment right now incredibly precious.
It's a powerful way to frame it. We went from fearing wolves in the sky to understanding geometry to the universe being a cosmic free lunch to realizing time itself is the boundary.
From myth to mechanism. And whether you agree with the conclusion or not, you have to appreciate the sheer elegance of the logic. A self-contained universe explained by its own laws.
It really is a deep dive.
It certainly is.
So, to leave everyone with something to think about, Hawking presents this idea of the universe as the ultimate free lunch, a perfect balance of something and nothing, and we are just these brief thinking arrangements of it. So here's the question. Does understanding the mechanism, knowing how the trick is done, ruin the magic? Or does the fact that we, a collection of stardust, can actually figure it out, does that make our existence infinitely more magical than any story we could have ever invented?
That is the question.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.